Okay, let's dive right in. We're turning our attention now to chapter 15 of the book of Job.
Yes, and specifically to Eliphaz the Temanite. This is his second response to Job.
And wow, he really doesn't ease into it, does he?
Not at all. He immediately challenges Job, calls his words empty notions,
Right. Empty notions, useless words, pretty dismissive stuff.
and speeches with no value. He's basically saying Job is just spouting hot air.
But it's more than just disagreement, isn't it? It's the reason he gives.
Exactly. He connects it directly to piety. He says Job's words undermine piety and hinder devotion to God.
So in Eliphaz's view, Job speaking out like this is actually sinful.
That's precisely his accusation. He says, your sin prompts your mouth. He thinks Job's adopted the tongue of the crafty.
And he's absolutely certain about that.
Oh, completely. He even says Job's own lips testify against you. He sees Job's complaints not as cries of pain, but as self-incriminating evidence of wrongdoing.
That whole perspective, where suffering equals sin, it really colors how he sees the quote-unquote wicked.
Absolutely. He lays out a very clear and, frankly, terrifying picture of what happens to them in this chapter.
Tell us about that. What's the fate Eliphaz describes?
Well, according to him, it's unrelenting. All his days, the wicked man suffers torment. That's pretty direct.
Torment? What else? Just general misery.
It's more specific. He talks about terrifying sounds always in their ears, despair setting in, knowing ruin is coming.
Sounds like constant fear.
Exactly. Marked for the sword, wandering for bread, knowing the day of darkness is at hand. Distress and anguish just sort of overwhelm them.
So for Eliphaz, this isn't random chaos. It's a direct result of their actions.
Precisely. He ties it directly to opposing God. He says the wicked person is shaking his fist at God, vaunting himself against the Almighty.
Defiance leads to destruction.
Yes. Their wealth fails, their lineage is cut off, God's bread carries them away. It's a total divinely ordained collapse because of their antagonism.
But okay, alongside this picture of the wicked getting their due, he brings in another sort of foundational idea, right?
Yeah.
About humanity itself.
Yes. That's crucial. He poses that question. What is man that he could be pure?
Or one born of woman that he could be righteous.
Right. And his argument is, look, if God doesn't fully trust his holy ones, if even the heavens aren't pure in God's sight.
Then what chance does frail humanity have?
Exactly. He concludes, how much less man who is vile and corrupt, who drinks up evil like water.
Wow, that's quite the assessment. Vile and corrupt just by nature.
That's his view here. Humanity, simply because we're born of woman, is inherently impure, fundamentally flawed.
And he seems to be using this general idea to judge Job specifically.
That really seems to be the connection he's making. You have these two pillars for him. One, the wicked definitely suffer torment because they oppose God.
Okay.
And two, all humans are inherently impure anyway.
So when he looks at Job, suffering, complaining, maybe sounding like he's opposing God,
Eliphaz sees it fitting perfectly. The suffering proves the impiety. And the impiety isn't surprising because, hey, all humans are inherently corrupt like this. Job's words are just the outward sign of that inner flaw attracting divine judgment.
So Job's unique situation just confirms Eliphaz's rigid system. Suffering proves sin, and sin is rooted in our basic flawed nature.
That's the confident, if maybe limited, viewpoint Eliphaz presents here. Torment follows opposition to God, and everyone, you included, starts out impure anyway.
It creates this really stark contrast, doesn't it? Eliphaz's absolute certainty about God's judgment for perceived impiety.
Set against this sweeping declaration of humanity's fundamental, unavoidable corruption and frailty.
Right, so thinking about that contrast, that certainty versus that view of our inherent nature,
Right.
what does that make you consider about the whole relationship between suffering, trying to be righteous, and just, well, human frailty?
Definitely something to chew on as you reflect on these ancient words.